Are you just starting out learning to play the violin and not sure if you should rent first or buy a violin first? Hey, I'm Becca with Violin by Becca, and in this video, we'll be talking all about the pros and cons and all the things you should know of whether it's better to rent first or buy a violin first. Make sure you stay until the end of the video, where I'll be telling you how you can get your hands on my ultimate violin beginner checklist, filled with all the things you need if you're starting out playing the violin. Now, I know when you're starting out with anything new, it can be really exciting and you want to spend tons of money on all the things. So let's talk about the pros and cons of renting first or buying first so you know exactly which one is best for you. Let's start with the pros of buying a violin first. So the pros of buying a violin first are it's a one-time upfront cost. That means that violin is yours. Another favorite pro of mine is if you go to a local music store, you can tell them your price range and have them play lots of different violins for you so you can hear the sound and pick the one that you like the sound of best. Now, this is a higher investment up front, but it's yours to keep forever. Now let's talk about the cons of buying a violin first. Number one, we talked about as a pro is that it's a one-time payment for your violin. Now, as a con, that one-time payment is going to be a higher upfront cost. If you have $200 or $300 at that base level to spend, then it's perfect. Another thing that isn't so fun is if you need maintenance done on your violin, string repairs, that is all on you to pay for. There's no warranty with your violin. Any maintenance that needs to be done, you have to pay for. The last negative thing about buying a violin right away is if you're not in a full-size violin and you buy a violin being at a half size or a quarter size, any of the smaller violins, you'll have to keep purchasing a violin at every size until you get to that full-size violin 4/4 size, which is the biggest size. So that can be a little bit expensive to go through and buy a new violin at every size. So again, those pros for buying a violin are it's a one-time payment, it's yours to keep, and you get to choose your instrument. The cons and negative things are that one-time payment is a little bit more expensive, at least $200 to $300 at a base minimum. Any maintenance work that needs to be done, that is on you to pay for and fix. And last, if you're not in a full-size violin and you do want to buy at every size, that can get really expensive. Now let's talk all the pros and cons to renting a violin first. To be totally honest, most of my students go the route of renting a violin first. It's a great option if you're just starting out and you want to make sure that you're really committed to learning the violin and that you'll continue. The first pro is that there is a lower monthly payment. It usually ranges anywhere from $20 to $40 depending on your music store. And some music stores have different levels of quality of violin that you can rent. You'll pay a little bit more to get a higher quality instrument. Another pro is some music stores will do a rent to own option or a rent to get a credit, which is really nice if you do want to continue and eventually do want to buy a violin. You're not just, and I hate to say throwing your money away every month because it's not a throwaway, but it's going towards a purchase of a violin that you'll buy later, which most of my students, if they do rent, they all try and they all ask their local music store if there is a rent to own or a rent for credit option. Now, another super awesome thing about renting is there's usually some kind of a warranty or maintenance package on your violin. So say if you totally, completely break your violin, if you need to get strings replaced, if you have cracks or nicks happen, most music stores will do that warranty or maintenance program that there's little to no cost to fix your instrument, which is really nice because most of the instruments that they're letting you rent from them are $200 to $400 instruments that if you had purchased that instrument, it would be really expensive to fix. Another pro for renting is if you are in a smaller size violin, they usually will size and give you a different size instrument for free as part of your rental package. So there's no need to pay for a new size or pay to get a new size like you would if you were buying an instrument, that each size is just part of your rental package. Now, the cons for renting are you don't get to pick your instrument. Most times you get whatever violin that they give to you. There's no listening to all of them and picking. Most music stores don't have a huge stock of rental instruments on hand, so you just kind of get whatever you get. That's the same for you'll get whatever case they give you and whatever bow. So you kind of have to be okay with whatever they give you. Another thing that's not super awesome is it's not your violin. So don't get too attached to it because you'll eventually have to give it back unless you're doing a specific rent to purchase on that violin. And the last con is it is that monthly payment. So you'll be paying in perpetuity monthly that same cost until you're done renting from them. Now again, those pros and cons for renting a violin are pro, it's a monthly payment, so it's less upfront cost initially. If you need to change sizes, you can do that with little to no cost. It should be part of your rental program. Also included in your rental program should be some kind of maintenance package that if your violin breaks or if anything happens to your strings need to be changed or routine checkup maintenance on your instrument, it should all be included with hopefully little to no cost. Now again, those cons for renting are it's not your violin, so don't get attached to it. You're borrowing or renting it. You'll also continue to be making those monthly payments on your violin until you're done renting or you end up purchasing an instrument. You also don't get to pick your instrument, your case, or your bow. You usually get whatever the music store gives you. Now, if you're still not sure if you should rent or buy, this is what I tell all my students. To know if you should buy, definitely buy if you're super committed to playing the violin and practicing and you know it's something that you want to continue to do. Also, make sure that you're okay with that investment of a little bit higher cost. I don't want you going on, and I hate to say it because I love Amazon, but don't just go on Amazon and buy a really cheap instrument. Let's make sure we're getting you one that's a great quality that you're going to love the sound of and love to practice. So if you have more money to invest up front, definitely buying a violin right away is the perfect option for you. Now, renting is the perfect option for you if you are in a smaller size violin and you have to size up. You can definitely buy a violin if you're in a smaller size. It just, like we said earlier, gets a little costly when you're buying one at every size until you get to a full-size violin. Now, if you're just getting started playing the violin and you want to make sure that you're really committed to it before you invest at least $200 or $300, then definitely I recommend renting because it's a $20, $40 monthly payment that won't break the bank and will help you make sure that you're committed to playing the instrument. If you still have questions of whether it's better for you specifically to rent or buy, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to help. Now, one of my last most important tips about renting or buying, whether you're doing either or, is to make sure whatever music store you go to, that they have someone on site that knows stringed instruments and specializes in fixing them. Normally that person's called a luthier or someone that makes violins. This is going to make all the difference in your quality of instrument because you want to buy your instrument or rent from somewhere that can fix your violin and knows what they're talking about. I want someone that I can trust when I take my violin in to get it repaired or just have a checkup. So definitely make sure you go somewhere that is reputable, that they understand stringed instruments. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Now, we talked about at the beginning my ultimate checklist for beginning violinists, and I dropped a link to that below where you can get my ultimate checklist of all the things you need if you're just starting out playing the violin. I've included links for instruments, whether you're going to rent or buy, rosin, shoulder rests, everything you need, it's in this PDF. So make sure you grab it today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe for more videos just like this on all things about violin. I'll see you in the next video.